Max's cries echoed through the house. "Baby, baby!" he screamed, his voice filled with fear and urgency. The mother rushed into the room, her heart racing, unsure if she was about to see something terrible or something amazing. What she found would completely change what she believed about their parrot. Before you continue, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss another heartwarming story like this, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there. But this didn't happen all at once. The day the parents brought newborn Oliver home, Max watched from his perch. He climbed down and walked straight to the baby's bed. Oliver opened his tiny eyes and made a small sound. Max responded with a gentle chirp. It was their first conversation, a sweet moment between an innocent soul and a bird who understood much more than just words. From that moment on, something new began. Days turned into weeks, and Max became completely devoted to Oliver's daily routine. He wasn't just looking, he was learning, participating. He started mimicking Oliver's happy giggles, a perfect, joyful sound that filled the house. Then, one morning, something wonderful happened. As the mother bent over the crib, she said softly, "Good morning, Oliver." From where he sat, Max tilted his head, paying attention. He said it slowly, trying out the sounds. "Oliver. Oliver." The parents stopped, shocked. Their parrot was learning their baby's name. In the following days, Max said it more clearly, more sure of himself. "Oliver," he would say gently when the baby moved. "Oliver," he would whisper when Oliver went to sleep. He had claimed the baby's name as his own, a special word that linked them. When Oliver cried, Max didn't just sit quietly. He'd call for the mother, yelling urgently, "Mama, Mama." His voice loud and demanding, his sharp calls, a strong and urgent signal that the little one needed attention. He watched over the crib like a faithful protector guarding something precious, his bright eyes noticing everything. He wasn't just a bird anymore. He had become a brother, a companion, a small feathered guardian, always watching. Oliver's bond with him grew stronger too. A special connection formed, one that gave comfort and joy. Oliver would often giggle uncontrollably when he heard Max's familiar whistle or his own name said in that special bird voice. The mother watched in amazement. "He calms down only when he hears you," she'd say. "It's unbelievable." It was clear this was more than just repeating sounds. It was a deep, natural bond forming right before their eyes. Then Max's intelligence began to reveal itself in surprising ways. He started doing completely unexpected things that showed an incredible level of understanding. He figured out how to turn on Oliver's music toy on his own, playing a gentle tune in the room when everything was quiet. If Oliver started crying and the parents were in another room, he'd fly over, pick up the father's phone in his beak and bring it to him, a clear message that help was needed. He also seemed to notice changes in the environment. One chilly day, he flew to the window and began tapping on it with his beak, a sign that the room was getting too cold for Oliver. He understood schedules. He recognized sounds. He picked up on emotions. It appeared he understood Oliver's needs even better than the parents did sometimes. As time went by, Oliver started reaching toward him with tiny, curious fingers. Max, in turn, would come closer, always careful, always gentle. He would say quietly, "Good boy, Oliver, good boy," words he had picked up from the parents, now said with his own affection, and so the bond grew stronger with each flutter and each tender moment they shared together. One evening, the mother sat crying quietly in the nursery. It had been a difficult day, one of those days when parenthood felt overwhelming. Oliver slept peacefully, unaware. Max watched her for a moment, then flew to her shoulder. He nuzzled against her cheek and whispered, "Good boy, good boy," the same words he used to comfort Oliver. The mother broke down completely, but this time with gratitude. Even she was part of Max's family to protect. But then things shifted. Max began behaving oddly around the sleeping baby. He would perch on the side of the crib and look down at Oliver for long, quiet minutes. His head turned at strange angles, his sharp eyes focused and steady. Sometimes he would lean in closer, his beak only inches from the baby's face. The father saw it first. "I don't like the way he hangs over him like that," he said one night. "Something feels wrong." The mother didn't agree at first. "He's just looking after him, that's all." But worry started to grow when Max's actions became more extreme. One afternoon, while Oliver was sleeping, Max suddenly dove down and jabbed at the blanket near the baby's head. Quick, purposeful movements. Oliver moved and made a soft crying sound. "Did you see that?" the father asked, worried. "He's becoming violent." Another time, Max started screaming loudly right beside the crib, saying again and again, "Oliver, Oliver, Oliver." The words that used to sound loving now seemed desperate, almost panicked. The baby woke up crying, scared and upset. The mother came running in, frightened and confused. "Why is he doing that?" she said out loud. "Maybe your father has a point." Max's eyes looked different somehow, more fierce. He wouldn't move away from Oliver's side, even when they called him. He would scream if anyone tried to take him away from the crib. His caring behavior had changed into something that seemed almost crazy, maybe even harmful. The parents talked together that evening, worried. That evening, the father made a phone call he never thought he'd make. "We might need to rehome our Parrot," he told the bird rescue center. His voice cracked as he said it. Max had been part of their lives for 5 years. He's acting aggressive around our baby," the father explained, hating every word. "We can take him next week," she replied gently. The father hung up and looked at Max's empty perch in the living room. "1 week," he whispered to himself. "We'll give it 1 more week." "We have to keep him away from the baby," the father said seriously, "just for now, until we understand what's happening." The mother paused, feeling sad. She had believed in Max completely, but now, seeing his weird, rough actions, she had doubts. "Maybe you're right," she said at last. "We'll put his perch in the other room tomorrow." But that evening, before they could keep them apart, everything made sense. The mother was in the kitchen preparing food. Oliver was lying peacefully in his crib, still and silent. Max, perched nearby, noticed something strange. A small shiny piece attached to the mobile above the crib had come loose. Slowly, quietly, it began to fall down, dropping toward the sleeping baby's head. Right away, Max acted. He didn't wait. He launched into the air, moving fast and crying out as loud as he could. "Baby, baby," he yelled, the words urgent and clear. He wasn't crying because he was afraid. He was crying to warn everyone that something dangerous was happening. Just as he shouted, the piece dropped, its soft edge touching Oliver's face. Startled, Oliver began to stir and cry. Max's screams grew louder, more urgent. "Mama! Mama, baby!" he shouted desperately. He flapped his wings hard, a burst of protective fury. That's when the mother ran in. She noticed the fallen toy. She noticed her upset baby. She noticed Max on guard, defending, still shouting warnings, and suddenly she realized. Every odd action, every focused look, every rough peck, every loud cry of "Oliver," it had all been protection. He had been noticing threats they couldn't detect. He had been trying to alert them the only way he could. His behavior wasn't violence. It was love in its truest, most powerful form. His sounds weren't meaningless noises. They were urgent attempts to protect Oliver. The mother called the bird rescue center back. "We're not bringing Max in," she said, her voice shaking with emotion. "He saved our baby's life tonight. We almost gave him away, and he was trying to save us." That night, the father moved Max's perch back beside the crib. "I'm sorry, buddy," he whispered, offering his finger. Max stepped on gently and looked him in the eye. "Good boy," Max said. The father nodded, tears streaming down his face. "Yeah," he agreed. "You're the best boy." And his courage didn't stop there. A few days later, during that same time, he saved Oliver again. While the baby slept, his soft blanket had shifted, slowly creeping up until it began to cover his little face. Max saw the danger right away. He flew down to the crib, landed gently beside Oliver, and began to move. With careful precision, he took the edge of the blanket in his beak and pulled, dragging it away, from Oliver's face and airway, until he could breathe freely again. "Good boy, Oliver," Max said softly, as if soothing his little brother. "Good boy." Not once, but twice he had stepped in. He had protected a life too young and delicate to save itself. From that day forward, the parents watched Max with new eyes. They noticed things they'd missed before. How Max would sing softly when Oliver had bad dreams. How he'd position himself to block direct sunlight from Oliver's face during nap time. How he'd wait patiently by the high chair during feeding time, ready to alert them if Oliver started to choke. The mother started keeping a journal. Day 14. Max moved Oliver's pacifier closer when he was fussing. Day 22. Max covered Oliver's feet with the blanket corner when they got cold. Day 31. Max sat guard during Oliver's first fever, not leaving his side for 12 hours. Each entry was a small miracle, each one proof that love doesn't need words. As the months went on, Oliver grew and started crawling toward his feathered friend with happy laughs. Max would shout to him with excitement, "Oliver! Oliver!" The baby would giggle and crawl quicker, trying to reach his best friend. They would connect softly, a small human hand touching gentle feathers. Max would sing a beautiful tune, and Oliver would reply with pure joy. "I love you," Max would say, words he had heard from the parents, and even though Oliver couldn't repeat it yet, his delighted squeal said it all. This wasn't an ordinary bird. This was Max. This was family, connected not by genes but by a lasting bond of love and care. Did this story touch you? If you were Oliver's parent and noticed Max behaving strangely near your baby, would you have trusted him and allowed him to stay nearby? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments below. If you like the story, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.